This shit's on go. You want to start it off and introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello, Wendy.
You don't have a last name?
Yes, but we can keep that private.
Okay. I'm Francis. And today's topic,
What is the topic for today?
what did I say earlier?
You've been saying a lot of stuff.
I know, but what was the main
Mm.
reason why I called you here today?
Oh, you started asking me about all these people that I dated, and you were like, you know what? Never mind. Let's make the video, and we'll talk about it when I see
Nah,
you.
okay, I did ask that, but
Mhm.
there was a reason why I paused that. I asked you about something specifically about, I guess, like what's the most? I think it was what's the most money you've ever seen?
Ah, yeah, but that was like
All
prior.
right,
Mhm.
and then what did it lead into? I forgot.
It was leading towards like females and males, and like if I were to be like approached by
Mhm.
someone, and how females think one thing but act in a different way.
All right. Okay. Yeah, the topic is how females say one thing, but in the back of the mind it means something completely different. And I want to go ahead and dive deep into that. So, as a female, right,
Mhm.
like yourself, how do you feel about that statement?
So like I previously mentioned, I feel like we have a reason why sometimes we do this, and it all depends. But I'm gonna try to be very broad, as in when it comes to just as females, not so much like me
You gotta be
personally.
specific.
I can be specific in myself, but I don't feel like every
Okay.
female thinks like I
All
do.
right. Go. Yeah. Give one and one. So give one
Okay.
example for you specifically, and then for a broad example of
Okay.
females that
Sounds
you've
good.
experienced, like friends and
Say,
stuff
give
like that.
me like a scenario.
Okay. I don't want to use the same one I said earlier today, but just for the sake of time, let's go ahead and let's say some well looking, good looking man approaches you, right? And you've been eyeing him from a distance,
Okay.
and you already knew within 5 seconds you want to smash, right? You want him to fuck your world up, right?
Okay.
Right? But you're gonna keep it subtle to yourself because most females have no game and they do not want to approach any man because they're afraid of rejection.
It's not that we're afraid of rejection. That is not the reason why we don't approach men. Okay? A female that's resting in her full feminine energy knows that she's a catch and knows that she's not about to go and do the man's job because it's the
Oh,
man's job to come and approach us.
really?
Yes, I believe that. Because I'm not gonna go out there and make myself look thirsty trying to
How is it
seem
looking
like
thirsty?
because oh I'm approaching a man, like that's not
Okay,
in my book.
so you think that's the same thing for men approaching women? You
I
know how
really
many? You know how many men are in your I know you know how many men are in your inbox. That's thousands of men in your inbox, and you like okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's okay, but compared,
you legit just told me, oh you look cute, you look real fine today.
yeah, you look fine today. You look fine today.
Okay, but I'm just okay
But I'm
when it
saying
comes to this.
compared to like Kim Kardashian or all those other celebrities that pretty much probably get a whole bunch or strippers,
Okay.
right? They got bodacious body and all that shit.
Mhm.
You probably had 1,000. They probably had like 10,000 every single day, right? That's the
Right.
only thing I'm comparing it to. I'm not saying that you are ugly or anything like that because you're not. You're very beautiful. But the thing is, you have even the average or ugly or fat chick got a person a day in their inbox,
Yeah, that's true.
thirsty as hell.
Mhm.
So isn't it better for a woman to approach a man because now the man knows, okay, she went out her way. Of course, she wants me for sure.
Mhm. And that's the thing. Like sometimes we don't like to boost your ego like that.
Who's that? Is that you or is that
Personally, yeah, like that's me. I'm not gonna boost like nobody's
shit?
egos unless, look, us as women, we know that it's a must for us to praise our man, and that's kind of a trick that that makes a lot of men be attracted to a woman because they're like, oh, she's praising me, she's looking up to me. So it's something good, but I'm not about to give that to just anybody. So I would do that 100% for my man. I will hype him up. I will
Okay.
praise him. I would.
All right, so let's get back to the topic though. Let's get back.
Okay,
You getting
okay.
sidetracked. All right, so let's get back to the topic on. Okay, so handsome man approaches you, and you know, you already know he can get it if he says the right words, whatever's in your mind, right? But he comes across like this, like I don't mean to be rude, but you look fine as fuck, and I just want to fuck your world up.
Okay. Thank you, but no thank you.
Why?
Because first of all, I appreciate the compliment, right? But compliments are
But
always
he's
given.
he's seeing right through you. So I could tell that you want to fuck me too, and he's
Well,
calling you out already before whatever is in the back of your mind that you don't want to project because you want to play Miss Innocent out there, but he sees right through you. So you're gonna keep denying the fact that
yes,
why?
because he's a stranger. I just met him, and I don't want
Oh,
to come.
now because he's a stranger.
Yes, and
How,
also because like I don't, I'm not gonna make myself look thirsty like that. And like how I mentioned, if
you're
he's
not looking
doing that to
thirsty.
me,
You're not
I
looking thirsty.
know, I know that he's doing that probably to like other women. Like men spit their game all the time, right? I've heard a lot of things before.
I mean,
So for him to say something like that, yeah, like it's gonna caught me off guard because not everybody it's gonna approach me like that and say right off the bat like, oh, you want
exactly.
me in bed. So I understand that, and yeah, it could low key be like a turn on because like, damn, okay, is that how you feel? I kind of feel like that too, but I'm not gonna expose that part of me because me as a woman, I see myself as much more than that. So
Right.
if somebody is straight up telling me that, they're legit telling me they just want that.
What?
So
At least they're being honest.
yeah, they're being honest, and I
What's
appreciate
wrong with
that.
that? So that means you
I'm not
like.
saying there's wrong with like them being honest, but for me, I'd rather not spend my time, my energy, my affection, and myself in somebody that's just trying to smash. Because guess what? I can turn around, walk 5, 10 steps, and somebody could want to smash too,
But
and they could be more respectful, and they can approach me differently. So if they're gonna do something differently, that's gonna be nicer and to my standard, then I may give them a chance. I don't care how good looking you may be. Does that make sense?
it makes sense for you, but how about for others? How about for the other females though?
Okay, so for the other females in the spectrum that are driven by their flesh and their lust, they're gonna hop on that right away.
You
Like
think
no
so?
questions asked. Yeah, especially like if he approaches them like that, hey, like I know you want me, I want you, and I'm ready to like take you right now. They'll be like, yes, Daddy, let's go. And I mean that's a win for you. But now let me ask you this as a man: if you were to approach a woman like that,
Yeah.
and yeah, she's fine, she's good looking, whatnot. You see that she wants you, you want her, you approach her, and she's like, yeah. What will you do after you get what you want and you smash? Is she still gonna be valuable to you, or is she just gonna be another hoe you fuck?
It just depends. Sometimes, here's the thing, and this is a lesson to all young men out there: think with your big head, not your little head. So, if the sex is good, sometimes it might just turn into something really great, right?
Okay.
For the most part, if I'm doing that, it's gonna be smash and dash, right? It could be a smash and dash,
Exactly.
but it doesn't mean they cannot be friends after that,
Friends.
right?
See, exactly. You prove my point.
Okay,
I'm not looking for just friends. I'm not looking to just somebody that's gonna come hit it and quit it. I'm looking for a husband. I'm looking for a
that's you. I'm not
relationship.
asking about you
Exactly.
though. I'm not
You're
talking
you're
about
asking
you.
me. You
I
said
am
about
asking you,
me.
but then
You
I,
said about me personally,
all
and
right,
the rest of the spectrum of the woman.
yeah,
So the rest of the spectrum of the woman, like I said, they may want that too, and they'd be okay with just hitting and quitting it,
mhm,
and that's fine. No hard feelings and whatnot. There's too many women like that, but there's other women that are not gonna settle for that because they're not just gonna wanna keep having just random guys coming inside of them, hitting and smashing and quitting it right off the bat because that's not what we seek. We seek something that's more. So I
Long
I can
term
think of.
substantial
Yes,
or
that. How you say it?
substantial?
Substantial. Yes. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking. So if I know right off the bat that you're approaching me this way, you're not gonna give me what I seek
But
long term.
I understand that, but now let's say if you're in the mood for that, I mean, are you gonna just go ahead and deny your mood at that time?
No,
There's
because
nothing wrong with a hit and quit.
I'm gonna let you know why. Because if I'm in the mood for that, I probably already got somebody else that I can hit up instead of me trying to hook up with like a random stranger that I know is just gonna hit it and quit it. So
Okay.
if I'm just trying to
It could
like,
turn into a situationship. You never know.
it definitely could, and like you say, like maybe like the sex is great, and then you're gonna want to approach me again,
Mhm.
right? And then you're gonna want to keep being friends, right, to continue that. And
Possibly.
if I'm down for them, then yeah, like maybe I'm gonna be down for that. But before I even go out and I start getting ready to like go any place, like I already have it in my mind. Tonight I'm not gonna like leave with anybody. And like it can go vice versa. Before you start getting ready, you can say, "Oh, I'm gonna get some dick tonight," and you'll have that in your mind. So whether they approach you or you have to approach them, that's your motive, and
Has
that's
has that? So you had that mentality before?
sadly.
Sadly, yes. All right. So like, how does that mentality work for women? Like, what is that like? In what mood or what situation have you, like, how did you get to that point as a woman? Like, okay, yeah, I want to get some dick tonight, type shit.
Well, I was a lot younger, and it wasn't like just for that night.
How
Like
young
my
though?
whole mentality, I was like maybe like 20, 21.
Okay.
Like that's when I was more in that aspect where like, oh, I don't really want a relationship. I just want to explore and
Mhm.
experiment, and try something new or something like that. Um, and then and it was also about my influences. The people that I had around me, if I had friends that were hoes, that's all they would talk about.
Birds of a feather flock together, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So I knew to not associate myself with those type of females anymore, and yeah. So I know like if they're saying that, then like we're all kind of like, I don't know. Sometimes we kind of make it like a little competition.
Oh, you make it competitive like that?
Yeah, sometimes like, oh, like if I want some, she says she's gonna get some. We're gonna see like who really gets them at the end of the night.
Wow. And
So
do y'all share?
it depends how freaky they are and what they're down for. Some of them will, some of them won't.
Have you shared before?
I prefer not to answer that.
Oh, why you? All right. All right. All right. Okay. Why not? It already sounds like you already did.
I may have not.
Okay. Okay. You one of those females. All right. But as far as that goes, how do you feel like in today's climate, 2020, we're about to be in 2021? Do you feel like it's super difficult to go on the actual? I mean, especially with Corona or whatever, COVID, whatever this bullshit that we're in. Do you feel like it's difficult to find somebody during this time?
Yes, I definitely do. I realized to stop looking for somebody and just wait for them to come find me. And I've had this mentality for like the past like 2 years, and this really like made the difference when it came to me dating. Now, yeah, I do find it a lot more difficult because just being conscious, like even like with like friends and whatnot, you don't know who they've been around, you don't know where they've been, you don't know if they've been sick or not. So it's hard to like go on dates and like meet somebody new and whatnot. So I do find it more difficult now. And then especially me now knowing that like I don't want to just like date, like I want a husband.
You want a husband, but you just can't just jump to from
I
dating
know.
to a husband. It's like it's gonna have to be built up. So what does a husband
Right.
mean to you, anyways? Because I don't believe in marriage like that.
Mhm.
I mean, everybody has their roles. Of course, I want a wifey, but I don't believe marrying under the state law.
Right.
Right. But what does a husband mean to you though?
It would mean that my life has been completed. As in, like, now I have somebody to serve and somebody that will serve me as well, somebody that I can rely on and have them as my ultimate provider. So as women, we always want reinsurance. We always want to have stability, and I know that having a man brings that to the table. And of course, like I can find stability within myself, within my family. Like I can always get it on my own, but it's so much better when I have like a team, you know.
Right.
And I want to have kids. I want my kids to grow up with a family, not in a broken family, because I grew up like that, and I don't want that for my kids.
You
So
came out just fine.
I could be better.
What's
I
better?
still have a lot of issues that I had to work with.
Uh,
So that's a different topic for a different day. But I just had this. I'm very like I always want kind of like perfection in a way, and I have my own definition of perfection. So for me, like I want to be able to get married, have my family, raise my kids, be able to have the privilege of saying that you know what, I don't have to go and work. My husband got it, and he can take care of me and my kids, and I can be a full-time wife and a full-time mother before I had to be an employer for somebody else.
okay, I can respect that.
So that's some of the stuff
So,
that means for me to have a husband. It's so much
um,
more that I can go into detail.
do you feel like you won't be happy unless you have one? Can you be happy without a husband?
Yeah, I'm happy right now.
Are
And I
you?
don't even have a boyfriend.
Okay, see, that's a lie.
That's not a
That's
lie.
a lie. Okay, you telling me you're fully happy right now?
Well, the one thing that's not making me happy is the fact that I have not achieved all my goals in life. So I'm not gonna be happy into I own my salon,
Hmm.
into I got a fat ring on this
But what's gonna
finger.
come first?
I don't know. You know, I always do ask myself that question. Do I want to be able and like have my business set up by myself, or would I want somebody to come and help me and invest me and push me and make a business for herself? So that's always a debate that I have within myself. I obviously do want to put in the work and initiate the process right now in my
Hmm.
single season. So whenever my husband does come along, he can just enhance it instead of him having to like do everything. You know, because I do want it to be mine. Like I don't want him to come with nothing. Like I also want to like come as a wife with a business or like
Okay,
something. You
so
know.
with a female with your type of mentality now, do you want a husband that's in that business realm, like such myself, or do you want a husband that is just like a blue collar worker, goes to work, makes a whole bunch of money doing that, and I mean he's probably investing in other things, but he's not a businessman per
So
se.
I've kind of like already like experienced this, and it's good to have somebody that has his like 9 to 5 and is making like good money, and you know obviously is a provider. But mentally, I feel like it's better to have somebody that's an entrepreneur because I'm an entrepreneur and I need somebody within that same mentality so they can push me and I can push them. And if he's just like a 9 to 5, he's not gonna understand how much I have to hustle or how much I have to push or what I'm gonna be going through because at the end of the day, he's only gonna know he's 9 to 5, no matter like how much money he makes because you can make pretty good money with just a 9 to 5. But for me, I would not be satisfied working for somebody else. Like I want
Understood.
to
But
have other.
that's what I'm saying. Okay, so but when you have a businessman and you want stability, that's not always gonna be in your
Right.
favor. You never know.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? You never know.
and that's pretty much like the catch, you know, when it comes to like being an entrepreneur. Like you're not always. I mean, you always have to have like a next move. You're always gonna have to plan things out differently because you're not gonna have that stability of being under a contract in your 9 to 5.
Mm.
So I would completely understand that, but I mean, if he's like completely broke, well, like he can't have anything, then he should be focused on himself, not in having a wife.
But I mean, what happens within that process? of having you and everything like that. Shit went left.
Well, then if we're already together, we're gonna stick it through it,
You
baby.
sound like you don't want to.
I mean, I don't think anybody would want to be in that situation, especially if you have kids and now you're having to struggle.
Yeah. Are you
Yeah,
gonna
it's not
jump ship?
ideal. What do you mean?
I mean, either find another man, leave that
Oh
situation. Would
no,
you ever?
no. If we're married, no.
Okay.
I wouldn't. I'm too loyal.
You say so.
I know.
hmm But
Okay.
me personally, I'm not for the marriage. I am. I mean, if you want to have a kind of like a contractual agreement, right? An agreement or partnership with a significant other, I'm all for that, right? You can make up an LLC, a business, and put your marriage into that. You're married into the business instead of to each other under law, right? I just don't like when the government has to intervene in certain situations, especially like if you gotta split up. What happens if you gotta split up? You know, a lot of women's vision or like emotions really change after marriage, right? And or even after having a baby. Like I know, like with firstborns, they have something called like postmodern. What is it called? Postmodern, martyrism or whatever it is. Basically, where they feel almost like either they feel suicidal for themselves, or they don't even want their child.
Oh, I've heard that before. And my cousin, she actually experienced something like that. She got like really depressed after she had her, was it her first or her second baby? Um,
Probably has to be the first.
I don't remember which one it was, but I know she went through something like that, and it was a matter of the fact that her whole life has changed now.
Well,
You know,
yeah,
like of course,
but that's real. That's what I'm saying. With
yeah,
females,
and
that's something that y'all don't even take account for because y'all don't even like you're not the god of your feelings. However you feel is how you're gonna feel.
right.
So that's why a lot of men like myself are against marriage because you can feel great one day and feel bad the next. Imagine like we stick through it with your period every month, right? And that fluctuates. Not every period you're gonna feel the same,
Right.
right? We could say one thing that we said before millions of times before your period, but now we say it now. It's annoying. It's a bothersome. You're having a whole argument over small things. Now take that into account with bigger things being accomplished, whether that be having kids, being married. That's a lot of that's a lot of mood changes, emotions being swung. So you telling me you're gonna stay consistent? That's what I'm saying. You say one thing now, but doesn't mean that exactly because emotions are a polar opposite of logic.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. Yeah, us as women, we're very emotional creatures. We can't deny that at all. When our body is going through certain changes, obviously our hormones are all over the place. We get a lot more moody and whatnot. And then having a baby, I mean, you literally just got done creating a whole human being inside of you. It like messes you up completely from your emotions to your physical being to your mental health to your physical health. Like you go through all this stuff as a female after you have a child, right? So yeah, I agree that you're not gonna feel the same, but the thing is, like, you may not even feel as beautiful anymore because you have a whole bunch of stretch marks, or now you like gain all this weight or whatnot. So if you don't have your partner that's like still boosting you up and being supportive, that's gonna take a toll on you. And yeah, like I feel like it's just about each other. You know, you have to understand as a man what we just went through. So if you're not willing to be patient or understanding of how I'm feeling, or if you're not trying to like cooperate towards like making me feel better, then that's an issue. That's a
Oh,
bigger
so
issue.
everything goes back onto the woman being selfish, basically. That's being selfish because you know why? Now you're getting your emotions. You're a grown woman now, right? Obviously, this is something new for you, but you're a grown woman now. You went through this experience, and you telling a man that has never even been through that experience with somebody else as well that we should try to understand you,
Yes.
but yet you don't understand the change that we're feeling from you. So, because
Yeah.
both people have to be conscious about that.
Yes, and I do agree that a lot of women we do become selfish and we're just like wanting you to nurture towards our emotions and we're not really concerned with your emotions. But because we just went through a whole big thing of giving birth to a child, so your emotions are kind of irrelevant. Like, look, a whole 9 months.
Okay.
Okay, okay,
You
like
shouldn't
that's
have
what
you,
you're
you
gonna
shouldn't
say.
have had sex if that's how you're gonna feel. You shouldn't have opened your legs.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I need a husband. Like, I'm not just gonna go and smash some random dude just
You
because he
need a
approaches me like
husband,
this. Yes, I
or
need a
you
husband.
want a husband.
Both. It's a want and need.
You know, I mean,
I
it,
don't need like a man. I would
there we
desire a man,
go.
and I want a man.
There we go. Okay.
That's the difference
But you
between us.
said you need a husband.
Yes, I need a husband for me to have kids.
Y'all hear that?
Yeah.
uh, hypocrisy right there. But I feel like okay. Now that's having kids. But what about marriage?
Okay. What about it?
What about marriage? Like, why is it that for some reason all of a sudden now that the woman is secure, right? She has an emotional change now, and things are different. Whatever you thought or used to know about this woman is completely different now that she's really showing her true self to you.
Well, that's a dangerous spot to be in as a man, I would say, because if you're just barely realizing her true colors after you got married,
But that's how women are. That's what I'm saying. Your feelings are completely different when you're married compared to when you're trying to get married. Now you're trying to
okay.
be the catch. You're the bait, right? The bait looking good and sexy on that mug. You bite that shit. You married to it. All of a sudden you taste it's an actual hook. Now you dead fish. Now you reeled in. You're not gonna know. A lot of people don't know. My dad was in a situation like that.
Right, and
A lot of men were in a situation like that, and I feel like, or what I know, or what I understand right now, right? I wouldn't say I feel, but what I understand because I've actually seen this is when women feel a certain way, when they feel secure, they have the kids, they feel all women. Now they get into the logical sense and start hoeing around and start. They might not be giving out. They might not be giving out their body or whatever it is, but now that they had everything to be a woman, because it's what marriage and kids will make you feel like a complete woman. Because you're not a complete woman yet. You can't say that because you haven't even been through those emotions.
the thing is, like, I already feel like I am
But
a
you haven't given
complete.
birth. You've
Right,
never
I
given birth.
haven't.
So
So,
therefore, you're not in your complete feminine yet.
well, I have not experienced that aspect of feminine. I feel like there's always like different levels,
Exactly.
and I feel like towards this level, like I am completely who I need to be at this
Right
level of
now.
my time.
But
Right.
now, when I'm just what I'm saying, but as you are a woman
Mhm.
with emotions, when you get to different levels, you're gonna feel different emotions that you haven't experienced before, and a man
Okay.
in that same situation hasn't experienced before with another woman unless they had kids prior or been married prior,
Okay,
right?
so when it comes to this, I really do believe that it will come down to. I mean, I've never been married. I'm not speaking from experience, but this is what my assumption, personally, how I would feel in that aspect. Because yeah, like now thinking about it, I do believe that my headspace will be in a different area now that I know that I'm secure, that we have kids, that we're
You
married.
might not even need this man anymore. If he's rich enough, you might just divorce him and get his money, and you might get what exactly what you really
you
want.
you can. That's what I really want. What I really want is a long life. I mean,
But
a
what?
lifelong partnership with somebody. So I'm not
So
looking to
you
marry
don't
them.
even need a husband.
Yes, I want a
You said a
husband.
partnership though.
Yes, as a husband, not just a partnership to do business and stuff like that.
I mean,
That's gonna be
you and
perfect.
I can be lifelong partners,
Okay.
right? We don't even got to be married. If I treat you
All
with
right.
respect, right? I take care of you. I provide whatever whenever you need it. What the fuck is a marriage for?
The fact that it's tradition, and it's
For
not
what?
just that.
Marriage is actually new in tradition.
I'm not
Like
speaking
the
like
marriage.
from like the rawness. Like for me, it's what I want. Like if if it all just comes down to paper, then I could be able to make a different decision at that point. But if I can still get like my wedding and I can still have like security towards like I know if like we're not gonna be together anymore, I'm still gonna be good and you're still gonna be good, then that could be like a different
Right.
term.
But that's what's exactly what you want. That's what all women want is the backup. Is just in case shit goes left, I'm good.
And don't we all want that?
Men don't think like that. Men love better
Like
than
your,
women though.
what do you mean?
They love better than women.
They love better than women?
Yeah, because they have to figure it out. Because I mean, for one and foremost, like as a man, as a young man, you taught to respect women and do all that stuff. Then you get burned, and then you realize women, real woman nature, they don't give a fuck about you.
You be messing with like the wrong woman.
It don't matter. It's just life, though.
Look,
I'm pretty sure you burned some dudes. Don't act like you haven't. Like, there's been some nice dudes that came along your way. You burned them.
it's not that I burned them. It's just like they weren't to my standards. So I
Well,
wasn't gonna give them my time.
whatever it was, you burned them
But
though.
I mean, either way, like doesn't mean just because like they're nice and they want me doesn't mean that I have to want them back. That's the thing
Well,
that
not the one.
frustrates
So
me
you
so
telling me
much.
you never been with a guy that was super nice to you and got you everything, and then you just broke up with him?
I, yeah.
Exactly. And
But
that's how you create a savage, y'all. That's
no,
exactly how you
let
create
me
a savage. That's exactly how you create somebody like me.
look. This is the thing though. The people that I have dated and been like in relationships with, like boyfriend, girlfriend, all of them they wanted to marry me, and
And
all
you
of them
haven't married them. Why?
because they weren't to
Why?
my standard. Because I realized their true colors while we were dating. I didn't want to jump into marriage with this person because I knew their true colors. They saw my true colors, and obviously they wanted to put a ring on it, and like I appreciate that, and like
That's all they know from that point. First
yes,
and
from
foremost.
that point, and like that was enough for them. So like that's good. And me, like I'm pretty secure on like I know I'm wife material, and I'm not even like trying to like be cocky or anything like that. But I make sure that I set myself apart from the rest of all this chicken heads
Chicken
out here.
head. Wow.
I am, and like that's the thing, like just like you as a man, like I'm pretty sure like you're working hard, trying to like be stable to do something for yourself. You're not just a scrub trying
Mhm.
to like go around with like every woman that passes by,
Mhm.
right? You're setting a higher standard for yourself,
Right.
and you shouldn't allow anybody lower than your standard to come near you,
True.
right?
Right.
So it's the same thing as a female, especially as a female, because this is the one thing that really frustrates me, and not just me, but a lot of females that they think just because it's a guy is nice to us and he's getting us everything that we want, that we should give him a chance. Why though? Like,
So you just take advantage of the niceness, right?
no,
What happens if
no,
he's
no.
really into you and all that stuff? You just
That's great, but guess what? He's not the only one that's into me. He's not the only one being nice to me. He's
well,
not the only one spoiling me.
right.
So it has to be a lot more than that.
That's why. Isn't that why female love game? Don't you love a mystery man like that could just play with you? You love that. Like women love that. You can't resist it. It's in your heart. It's in your soul because at the same time, your feelings you like to be played with.
It's not that we like to play. It's not that we like to be played with. It's the
Logically, you
fact.
do.
It's the fact that
Emotionally, you don't. But you logically do.
and this is like the game for everybody, even for humans,
Right.
even for sales, even for anything. If you're trying to sell somebody something, right? Obviously you're gonna create mystery, right? Obviously you're gonna create oh man, I forgot what's it called. Like you need to get it fast. If not, it's gonna be gone. This service only for today. If you don't buy it today,
Like a want, a need, like right.
yeah, right. You have to create that urgency,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
So that when you turn into relationships, that creates kind of like the game, like the urgency of wanting to know more about that person, the urgency of being mysterious and keeping somebody intrigued. Like that's the thing. Like it's not just for females; it's also for males. But
Well, yeah, mainly for males because at the end of the day, even when let's say we get married or whatever it is, you get married to somebody, that man has to keep playing games with you so you can still be interested in him as a person.
it's not like so much keeping playing
It
games,
is
but it's
though.
more about spicing it up. That's the thing.
or whatever words you want to use. It don't matter. It's games to be fair. Like because at the end of the day,
No, because
I
game sounds bad,
it
and game
sounds
sounds like I'm I'm being
this
manipulative,
is
and
exactly what I'm talking. It is manipulative when you already use a different word, my love. What are you talking about? So whenever you go ahead, you could name it whatever you want. It's still the game. It's like this
okay,
life, as I look at it. Even though it's real life going on, people dying and whatnot. People are poor, people are rich, people getting rich, people getting money. People losing money, whatever it is, getting girls. It's all a board. It's all a game. There's different board games you can play, right?
okay, and that's just
So
life, right?
that's life.
Right. So when you just say games, from my perspective, I feel like, oh, you just wanna like trick her into.
Tricking is different.
Okay, then I'm just explaining like how I view it whenever
Hmm.
you say games,
Right.
right? Whenever you say, oh, it's just about playing a game, I understand and say like, oh, I'm just gonna trick her real quick, get what I want, and dip. And like that to me, like that's a game because you're playing that game that you wanted for your own agenda,
Hmm.
right? So that's not how like I view it.
But
So
everybody has an agenda in the first place. Your
right.
agenda is getting married,
Mhm.
right? My agenda is, lifelong partnership. It's it's damn near similar, but the way you perceive it is different. The way I perceive it is different.
Exactly. So just like going back to like what I was saying previously, like us as females, we get so frustrated when they say like, oh, like you had like all these nice guys and you don't want them, and then you still say that like all men are the same. Like I don't agree with that because I definitely dated like men that are completely different, like
Like
one
what?
hundred
Like
percent.
how different? What you mean?
Like they're like disrespectful. They just want me for one thing. They can't even provide for themselves, and they're a scrub. They play those types of games that I'm talking about, and they just want to be smashing left and right. And then I've met other men that are super respectful, that want to get married, and that sometimes I feel like they're more like serious than I am.
Well, whose fault is that? And you want to get married?
No,
Why don't you want to be serious all the time?
this is the thing. Like I want to be serious, but not with everybody.
You got to choose one. Obviously, you got to take one
Right.
and go with
And
it.
the thing is, and I agree. And the fact is, like, I just this is like through all of this is why I can't rely on myself and I rely on God. That God is gonna bring me a husband and He's gonna bring him to
He's
me.
not gonna bring you a husband. You
Yes,
gotta
He is.
work for that. First and foremost, you
I
gotta
gotta work
you
towards
gotta
being a wife.
you
I'm
gotta
already
work.
a
You
wife,
gotta have higher value than just a wife.
of
Because,
course, and I believe that I do.
but all right, but what I'm saying is the fact that in this society, in this age, you, there's a slim chance you. I mean, there's a greater chance you won't get married in life, like the way that you perceive it,
Mhm.
compared to just having a lifelong partner.
Okay, yeah, and I definitely see that. But the thing is, for me, like, I'm not about to be nobody's baby mama. Like that's
I think baby mama's a bad term, but you still gonna be, that child's mother.
right. But the fact is, like, I'm
I
gonna
think baby
have a
mamas have a bad.
family.
I feel like baby mamas had a bad rap just because it sounds ratchet, but it's not.
And I'm not saying that every baby mama is ratchet, but I mean having a baby mama and having a baby daddy too, like that's you had a kid without like getting married or anything like that.
Okay, it
And I
happens.
understand, yeah, I completely understand that it happens. I'm not bashing anybody about it. I'm not saying anything about it. I'm just saying that I personally choose to not be one of them, right? This is why I want to get married before I have my children because I want to be able to bring children into this world with a family, not with a broken family. And also, like, I don't want to be struggling, having to chase down my baby daddy, like asking him for child
Why do you
support,
think
asking him for this,
you
asking
could
him
have a
for that.
stand up baby daddy? What's wrong with that? There's plenty of them.
And I don't want that. That's the thing. Like, I'm not willing to settle for that. There's women that
That's not.
are willing to settle
But
for
what
that,
happens?
but
All
I'm
right.
not.
What happens? This guy, he's really on a mission. He's
Okay.
really like he on some like almost Jeff Bezos type deal, right? He's gonna be well off in the future, and he's gonna take care of you. He can respect
Mhm.
that, like you the mother of our kids type stuff, right? That's okay. So when my dad came to America, right? This was in the '80s. He's from Nigeria. He needed a green card. Only way you could get a green card, or the fastest way, was to get married. Now there's ladies out there that will be willing to go ahead and do that,
Mhm.
right? So they got married and they had kids, right?
Okay.
Long term didn't work out, but my dad, I know that for a fact. He's a very stand up person. He wanted to go ahead. and paid all that child support and met my mom in the process and then had me, right? It still was pain, right? And still I knew who my brothers and sisters were on that side. So I mean, yeah, shit can get mixed up where in that example where I guess you could say it was stepmom or the you know what is it called,
The previous mother.
previous mother or whatever, right? She may have said some things like, "Oh, he doesn't pay," or this, that, and the third. But I seen all the pay stubs, I seen all the checks, all that stuff. My dad was able to provide proof. She may have slipped here and there, like, "Oh, he's not a good dad," whatever, blah blah blah. And when they were growing up, they felt certain type of way, right? Which does happen and can happen, right?
Right.
Because a woman is gonna feel as if, oh, I wanted him, and I can't have him, so I'm gonna start saying some blasphemous stuff about him,
Yeah.
right?
And I
And there's a lot
completely
of that.
yes, and even like my sister, like she'll talk crap about my dad, and my dad like still helps her a lot more than he helps me.
Exactly.
Just because she has kids. And then I ask her, where's your baby daddy at? Like, why doesn't he help you out?
Right.
And oh, pues he's not around. Well, I mean that was kind of like her choice to not choose somebody that was gonna be able to be stable with her.
Exactly.
And then now she's having to like rely on her own father. And then whenever my dad's not able to provide for her, she starts talking smack about him. But she does that. She does that very strategically because she knows that if she starts talking crap about my dad not helping her, somebody is gonna find pity on that and is gonna want to help her.
Right.
And that's the bad thing that a lot of women do, not just when they have babies, but even like when they're just dating, they will use pity as like as a way for them to get more help. And like honestly, like sometimes like as women, like that's what we gotta do. Like it all depends on the situation. It's not ideal. It's not
That's what
great.
you gotta do.
I'm not saying
What you
I'm not
mean?
supporting it, but
What you
sometimes
mean?
like you have to you know make sure that you say things towards something so you can get what you need.
Nah, it's not cool.
It's
That's
not.
not
I
cool.
know, and I'm not saying that it is. I'm not saying that we should always do this.
No, you shouldn't do it at all to be a stand-up human being. But I mean, I feel like when it comes down to that, women don't have. It's like almost like a loyalty slash respect for the man at that point. Like
Right.
that's totally disrespecting.
It is, and I agree. Like I'm not saying that she was on the right to do that. I'm not saying that my
That's your
sister.
own father.
I know, and like that's it. And I get mad at that because I'm like, dude, like he's helping you out because of your kids and whatnot. But whenever I need help, like he's not willing to help me because he'll rather help you. And like me, like I'm not using pity to try to get nobody's help. I'm being like straight up honest, and I'm letting him know my situation. And if he chooses not to help me, then that's on him.
Right.
So that's I'm not saying that it's right, but I do acknowledge that a lot of women do that.
Right.
And I mean, sometimes when you have kids, I do feel for moms sometimes because if your baby daddy is not helping you how you want him to help you, sometimes it takes a toll on you because now you have to figure it out because it's not by yourself. It's not you by yourself anymore. It's you and your child. You gotta feed it. You gotta take care of him or her.
Right.
So
I mean, but like
it's easy to talk.
it's easy to talk.
Yeah, it's easy to talk and like said say bad things about people when
Yeah.
they're actually trying to help you.
True.
So
But I mean, if it was reversed where it's the dad taking care of the kids, I don't even think dads even get any like as a man. You don't even get like
yeah, they don't get any
you don't
credit
get
though.
shit. You don't get shit. You don't get a damn thing. Ain't nobody gonna really. They gonna see it and they're gonna be like for a moment, but they're not gonna go out your way. They're not gonna go out their way unless it's a really like a woman that really just is intrigued by the dad or something like that. But most times they're not. They're gonna let them be.
Yeah, and I completely agree. And even like as a female, like if I were to like see a dad, like I would just let him be. Like I wouldn't even want to like
Why?
because I just wouldn't.
See, that's fucked up. Because it'd be a simp ass motherfucker to go ahead and go out his way to help this woman with her kids and her decisions that she made.
and that's everybody's decision. Like if you're willing to like help, then that's great, and if you're not, well then you're not. And that's the thing. Like yeah, like I do agree with that. Like so much. Like men don't get credit. They just don't.
I have nothing else to say. It's just that's the game. But okay, with that being said, and as a man, like yeah, you don't get the credit, but you can definitely get the glory at the end because if you take care of yourself as a man, you actually last. You can last longer than a woman, look better than a woman if that makes sense. Like in as far as age wise, right, and make more than a woman. So
And
that's
this is why we don't take pity on men because we know that at the end of the day, they're still gonna have their looks. Their body didn't really take a toll, and no matter where you go, you're always gonna make more money.
if you in the right mindset.
So,
If you're in the right mindset, of
of
course,
course, yeah.
right? So you okay? So how do you feel about Jeff Bezos and his ex-wife, now ex-wife, right? He's a billionaire. I think he
Oh.
had 100 billion or some crazy number, and the wife took half of that. Do you feel like the wife deserves half of that?
I can't really
Do
say.
you feel like the wife deserves half of anything that a
Yes,
man has started before they met? Before they met. Before they met. Before they met.
yes,
Before they met, though. It's not.
yes. And that's the thing, like,
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
and look, I want to say this because, like, once you become a wife, you obviously have like a completely different duty than just you being single or you being in a relationship
So husbands
before
don't got a
marriage.
different duty? When you become a husband, you don't have a different duty?
Yes, of course.
So what makes yours so significant at this point?
The fact
What have you done? What have you contributed to this family?
I could be able to contribute a lot, you know, not just financially, but morally, making sure that you're good, making sure that all your needs are pleased.
I could get that from a hoe.
Okay, then go ahead and go with that hoe, and don't marry me.
Oh, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're just saying, right?
But all right, okay. Even though like the feeling, all right, I could hire somebody to do that. But what
Okay.
are you providing? What else are you providing? What values are you going to set yourself at rest from the other women that are out there?
Well, that's the thing, because like you have to choose who you marry, obviously, right? So from there, you should be able to know her standards, know her morals, know where she comes from, and where she's trying to head it, right? Because if you don't dictate these things before you marry
They
her,
should change because women have feelings, like I'm
right,
saying.
right, but our core values, who we are, they're not gonna change automatically like that just because we got a ring on.
Or they're going to change because they got married or have some kids.
Yeah, and if they change, they would just enhance and be better and be like greater and
Not
happier.
how
I
you know that if you don't have kids or never been married?
Because I raised my sister, I
That's
seen my
different. But
mom get
you
married
didn't give
once
birth
again.
though.
I didn't give birth. I agree with that, but I raised her and I was
That's
there.
that's your sister though.
Exactly,
I'm gonna
like
raise
that's
my
my
sister
sister.
if she needed to be raised. Like what the heck?
There's the thing, like she didn't need to be raised. Like she was oh,
What?
what is it? She didn't need to be raised, but I still like experienced that, like being there, like watching my mom, like she got married again, and after she got married, like I saw how it was more beneficial for both of them instead of them just dating and stuff. Like for me as a woman, like I would completely like give my all to somebody that I'm married. When I'm dating, I'm still kind of holding back a little bit, and not on my personality, not on my values and who I am, but to give everything of who I am. I'm holding back until I get married. So if you become a wife, if he makes you his wife, obviously he sees some type of value in you. He wants you for something or a lot of things he can want you. So if he chooses you as your wife, yeah, like he should know that now you're going to contribute towards her. You're signing up to be a provider for her.
I've already did that when I was with you. Like what's the difference?
then now it's to a higher level. And if you were
What
to,
higher level?
that's the thing.
The
Like
only
if
higher
you
level is like when I get divorced.
exactly
Now
that's
you get the house and you get half of my money.
that's the thing exactly.
That is not something I'm willing to give up because you
And
weren't there when
they
I was
have a
shooting in the
prenup.
gym.
They have a
A
prenup.
prenup don't mean shit because you can say I signed it under distress, and that's happened before. A lot of guys they'll go ahead and sign a prenup, and they still won't look at it as a valid contract in court.
Well, then that's a whole different story. But I mean, if you have a prenup, that should at least like back you up in some type of way. And like I said, like look,
You
I
just
believe
glossed over it.
this is how like I see it. I don't know. I don't expect everybody to like see it like this, but I see me as a female, like I see a man as obviously like a provider, a protector, somebody that's here to. I don't want to say like take care of us, like oh like spoil us, not like that, but to be able to be here, like if we need anything, that we know that he got our back, like no matter what, to protect us from all these other dudes that trying to do harm to us or have the wrong intentions towards us
Mm.
and a whole bunch of things. Like I'm just like going surface level when I'm speaking about this. So obviously, like once you get married, like you expect that from a husband, and then obviously like, you can expect different things from a wife as well. So if you were to like, if whenever a wife takes like half of the stuff, like she put in some type of work too. You don't think she deserves
Not
something?
half of the business,
Okay, maybe not half of the business,
but
but
it happens.
it happens. Yeah,
Everything that you have worked for, it goes. Even
not
they want
everything, only
they
half of it.
and they want like alimony and all that bull crap. Like for what?
I mean, they need it. Like you
Who?
have to.
So
You also have to
you told me
understand, like,
females are weak.
huh?
Females are weak.
What week?
Yeah.
No, I don't think we're weak.
So why
No,
would you need it? Why can't you just go ahead and get out the mud like we did?
but why that? Like we put in so much effort towards you.
Like what effort though?
What effort though? Excuse. You see, I feel like you've been a little bit damaged, and you have a bad perspective of
I'm
women.
just playing devil advocate. Like I don't have a bad perspective of women, right? I know what women are capable of and what they really are, right? Because you don't know when feelings change. Because when look, a man probably understands feelings a lot more better because he thinks logically. Because when a man goes through like a heartbreak, it hurts. It
And
really
for
hurts.
women, it
They
hurts
don't
for
want
us
to go
too.
through that again. But women is cyclical. You get you feel heartbreak, you feel saddened, happy, joy, all that stuff, all the weathers in one
Mhm.
month,
Yeah.
in 1 week of a month.
Not just
So
1 week, the whole month.
okay, a whole month, whatever it is. But
It
like
enhances during our cycle.
okay, so like I take that little minute thing, right, your cycle,
Mhm.
and that could be you could have crazy arguments on that, and I've experienced that, right? Now take that into another level of you getting married, then you having kids. Now you have leverage and you're emotional. That's a that's a storm. That's a hurricane. If you push the wrong buttons and you not knowing of this because of these changes are so elevated, then obviously it almost as if the man doesn't matter anymore because she already knows she has him in the bag.
Right. So, what do you want me to answer towards that?
When I'm damn somebody smoking, but what I'm trying to say is like why like I was going back to my other question was why can't women go ahead and get out the mud like we did? Because that work and then putting that work in and for it to be gone and then you're heartbroken as a man is very very detrimental. You go from here and you go to negatives, right? You have to kind of climb yourself out of that situation.
Mhm.
Like I've been heartbroken before at 18, 19, 20, right? And it's like that shit hurt. I'm like, I don't want to get married because I planned to be married with this chick, all that stuff. It didn't go that way because she chose some dude that's 3 4 hours away. Shit
Okay,
crazy.
but like back then, you obviously were younger,
Right.
right? You hadn't experienced as much as you experience now.
That's true.
So now, with the mentality that you have and the standards that you have, and seeing how much you're capable of doing now, will you still choose a female like the one that you had back then, or will you choose somebody different?
Somebody different,
Exactly.
of course.
Right?
But
But what?
in the back of my mind, I'm like, I ain't getting married. I already know
Uh,
females be switching. They're not loyal to men. They're loyal to other females.
no.
They are. A female will go ahead and tell some other female that, oh, your dude doing X, Y, and Z. Send screenshots of what your dude's doing.
Yeah.
A man is not going to do that with another man unless it's their best friend, and
Right.
that's like a little iffy. But at the end of the day, women play for the same team. They don't play for the men.
Well, not just for any man, but we'll stick with our men. Loyal woman will stick to our men
I mean, yeah, that's true.
for sure.
But I'm saying, like, their friends around them will always try to do some bullshit to tear them apart.
Right, and that's the thing, because that's also why you have to like be concerned about your circle, because some female will try to set you up or set your man up just to trigger you. And if you fall for it, but then you fell for it, and that's a whole different situation that now you have to deal with, and that's not ideal. But I mean, just get yourself a loyal Mexican woman that will take care of you,
Oh,
and you will be happily ever after.
wow. Okay, amen to that. But make sure you have a contractual agreement and don't get married under the law. It's not gonna benefit you.
I don't know about that.
But yeah, no, I'm done. It's been an hour. Let's see.
Oh,
We
damn.
talk too much.